what's going on. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so happy to have you here. Let me go ahead and click to record. So if you don't know me already, my name is April Cox, and we're having fun helping people self-publish their books. And we're doing some crazy stuff lately with just an experimental thing I've never seen anybody do, which is just have constant live drop-in sessions for all kinds of things self-publishing. And I've had a number of people say, why are you doing this, April? Oh my God, I love it. But what is going on? What prompted you to do this? And I'll just have to tell you that I have seen so many people get taken advantage of by predatory publishers. And I feel that the biggest reason is because they don't know enough about publishing or about what to avoid and what self-publishing is, and they don't have a situation where they can drop in and get their questions answered. So I decided, not only because I was just doing some once a week, doing live sessions, answering questions, and now I've actually stepped things up. I have an amazing team. I'm gonna, some of you might already have heard some of this. So if you just bear with me, if you've heard my spiel already, but if you want to see what kinds of things are available, live sessions, aprilcox.com/event, calendar, aprilcox.com/calendar will bring up this calendar, which I'm sure will change from time to time. We're adding sessions. We're taking what we learn from these sessions and we're going to apply the lessons. For example, one person, we had a talk as a team and somebody said, gee, it would be really nice if you could consider doing some just networking sessions and like supportive environment where people can get to know each other, reduce some stress. So we added a new session that will start next Monday. And by the way, this is weekly sessions. So these things recur every week. I might have my Marketing Monday, a different special guest from time to time, but every week I'm going to have this slot. Now I'm sure that things will thin out as we realize what time frames people come in and drop into and which ones where we really don't get much attendance. So as things change and as we get new ideas, new requirements from authors, I will go ahead and make those tweaks. So now we have a networking event just Mondays from 3 to 4. I don't know if that's a good time or not, but we're going to start trying it out and seeing what happens. We have beginner sessions for newbies. We have in green, these are marketing focused sessions. In orange, they're focused around launching your book and getting some hand holding around those topics. And the authorpreneur, which is the pink, are more for my advanced people who have kind of gone through the process, are launching or have launched a book, and they're doing some more advanced things that they need help with. For example, at Amazon ads, or that whole journey from author to authorpreneur, running your business, website, kind of how do you manage your business, various different issues like accounting and taxes and all of that stuff. These are authorpreneurial topics and drop-in sessions. So this live support schedule includes some of the best and brightest in the publishing world that I have worked with for a number of years and built this network. So it's my way of sharing this network with you. So you get an opportunity. They're volunteering their time. They're putting themselves out here for you. And of course, you have my team where we are also here supporting my programs. So this calendar will grow and change for the month of April. I'm just making it free. Why? Because we are working out some kinks, right? We're working through it. We're testing out to see how popular these different things will be. And this is going to evolve. So anybody can drop in the month of April and go through aprilcox.com/events. And anytime on here that you want to drop in and check out, drop in and take a look and see what it's like. And you'll learn a little bit about self-publishing and a little bit about the types of things that we offer. So that is one. The live support is a part of a couple of different programs that I offer. The first one is the 90-Day Way. The 90-Day Way is my signature program where I take people from having just completed their publishing of their book. Completed their manuscript to all the way through editing, illustration, design, setting up your Amazon and your print on demand, all the way through launching and publishing your book and all of the marketing activities in between. So it is an online course. It is a self-publishing vault filled with tools and templates, and it also includes all of my live support, which you're seeing here. So that is one of the programs, and that is my signature program. Currently, I have a special going on. So if you are looking to get published in 2024, and you're looking for that kind of a session, which is critical if you expect to get your book out before Christmas, having that regimented module by module online support, live support, and everything you need to get things done, including all of my network as well, then I highly recommend you take a look at the 90-Day Way. It is currently it's $19.99, so $2,000. It includes an extra 3 months of support. So you get my live support for 6 months beyond the graduation of the program. And you also are going to get a $500 discount if you sign up by this coming Sunday. So starting on Monday, it is $19.99. It was going to be the end of last week. Unfortunately, I had some issues with my website, and so I decided to extend it for 1 additional week. So for those that are just starting, you can get into the 90-Day Way program with all of the support and everything else that you see for that special price of $14.99. So that is one program. The other program, which is really my mastermind, is just a continuation of all of this support. So my mastermind folks are here to actually go through and they have access to continue to grow. Maybe for the folks that are coming in brand new to self-publishing, they're going to spend a lot of time on the blue and the green, start towards moving into some of the launch stuff towards the end. But what I see is the mastermind folks are people who have published their books or have a more advanced background, and they are going to do a lot with the advanced topics. They can also drop into any of the others as well. But this calendar also kind of moves people from graduating through the program to staying in touch and still continuing to get all of the support that is needed. So that's what the mastermind program is. And this calendar is extended for those folks that want to continue. So what this mastermind membership moving forward is going to be offered at $99 a month for those that want this level of support in their program. However, for the next week, so by Sunday evening, I am offering $99 for a full year. And I think one of my authors said that was like $24 a day or something. So if you want to take advantage of all of this stuff, and you drop into some sessions that are free for this next week, and make up your mind if you think this is really something that you want to be a part of, then $99 for a full year is like amazing. And you probably think I'm crazy for doing it, but my goal is really to fill these sessions so that we can continue to make this something extraordinary. So I want to get as many people in as I can up front. And then, of course, after that next week, and this month here is, I'm just opening it up so people can get used to what we are offering. And then as of May 1st, your 1 year would start. So you'd have a full year for the $99, and you can sign up for that using selfpub.madesimple.com/mastermind. So the reason why I'm like trying to just kind of throw all these things together is because many of you have been in and out of my sessions for a while now. And I keep having people say, when are you going to talk about what you're offering and what does it mean? So I'm sorry if this is a lot of information all at once, but I'm going to open it up now for questions, and just feel free to ask anything. And I'm happy to answer questions about the program and how you can get published in 2024. Or we can switch it over if you've got other questions. Then once we exhaust, the questions about what I just talked about, I can open the floor and we can deal with any questions on self-publishing. Let me quickly. Josie says, April's program is worth every penny. Thank you, Josie. I love that. All right, go ahead, Tina.
Excuse me. I have reached out to Holly about the A+ information, so she's going to start helping me with that. My question to you is, if I have an ebook all ready to go, but I have not submitted it anywhere. When I did my book launch, which was January 26th, I did not try to achieve bestseller. Now I would like to try to do that. Should I attempt to do that with the ebook because the book's already been launched, or is it still a possibility to get the book in that position? And I printed my books.
Yeah, tell me again, when did you launch the ebook originally?
I have not launched it at all. It's just sitting there waiting for it. Melinda hasn't made it for me. I have not put it anywhere.
That's great, because if your goal, excuse me, I'm just gonna have a little bit of a sore throat today from all of the sessions and talking. So if one of your goals is to hit a bestseller status and to forever become a best-selling author, and especially, if you do it within the US, you're a best-selling author. If you also hit it in other countries as well, then you elevate yourself to international best-selling author. So what does it mean to be a best-selling author? Well, when it comes to Amazon, it means that you need to reach #1 in your category. With Amazon, we are allowed to choose 3 categories for our book, and it is really important that we choose carefully. I do not want to see anybody putting their book in basket weaving or anything like that, just because it's easy to rank #1 in basket weaving, right? Maybe no longer because too many people are doing it. But you want to find categories that are truly good for your book, but less competitive. And there's a tool that I use called Publisher Rocket. It is from David Chesson, and I love the tool. I do have an affiliate link I can throw up there if anybody wants it. It costs less than $100. It's a one-time fee. And that tool allows us to look behind the scenes and get all of the information, all of the categories on Amazon, and see how many sales you need for #1, how many for #10. And it gives you the opportunity to really hone into exactly which categories are the best, and also to arm you with the information on how many sales you're going to need in order to hit that bestseller status. So I would say ebook, yes, because the ebook categories are much less competitive for children's books. So ebook categories are going to be less sales to number one. And I'm glad to help you select just the right categories, and, you know, happy to look at that in one of the upcoming sessions if we can't get to that today.
Okay, so with my having my book, my hardback, which I have on Amazon Advantage, do you recommend that I still do print on demand, or is that competing against myself?
Wow, this is a little bit of a hard question to answer, because the answer is it depends. And it depends because it really depends on your goal. So if your offset printed books are on Advantage and people have the ability to buy that nice high quality book from you, you get to make a little bit more money using Advantage, then it makes sense for you to focus on that and not compete with yourself. However, being on Advantage and getting your offset books to Amazon is only one channel. So what about a hardcover on Barnes & Noble and Target and Walmart and over 40,000 other locations that Ingram Spark has available to them? What about libraries that aren't necessarily going to go and buy the Advantage copy that's out there? If you have a distributor, and I know one of your goals is to work with Jay and get a distributor to pick up your book, then a distributor can take your offset printed books and get them into all of those places as well. I heard from an individual, distributors usually won't pick up your books until you can prove that you have some really good sales. However, today I came across the name of a company, and you can write this down, I'll put it in the chat as well, called Pathway Book Service. And the author that I was with today mentioned to me that it is a book distributor. I haven't vetted this, so maybe you can share what you find, but Pathway Book Service, they will get your book into Baker and Taylor, Ingram, and there's another WH, I'm not sure. I was doing shorthand on this, but they accept all authors that apply, is the feedback that I got from this author. She did not have to have a certain number of sales to be accepted. So that there's a good part and a bad part to that. The good part is you get into those places. The bad part is they're not really very discriminating with the books that they carry. So does that mean that they're not taken very seriously by those other companies? I don't know. So I do need to do a little bit more checking into that, and I'm going to connect with them, maybe have them talk a little bit about their company on a future session here. But I will report back with any vetting that I do, and I invite you to do the same and let me know what you come up with. So if you can get your offset books into Baker and Taylor and Ingram, and it's being sold that way, then you don't have to do an Ingram version, an Ingram Spark version, and you get the high quality books at the very best quality, and so that you can make more as well. If that's not for you, if you cannot get the distributor to accept you, then you have to determine whether or not getting into Ingram and all of their distribution channels is worth the risk of possibly stepping on your own books. So that's, you have to weigh that, and maybe even do some experimentation, because you can always unpublish it if it starts to step on your Advantage version.
What about if I did print on demand in other countries? Just offering my book on the hardback in the US and then print it.
Yeah, that's it's an option. The only thing is print on demand, if you're talking about hardcover, is that right? Or is it just paper?
Well, I don't think that they offer a hardcover in the size of my book.
What is the size of your book?
8.5 by 11.
They do. Yeah, they do.
They do? Okay, I thought I read
8.5 by 11 is offered. You would have to go through Ingram to do it, Ingram Spark, because if your book is a children's book and it's less than 75 pages, then KDP doesn't allow you to put a hardcover together. It has to be at least 75 pages for Amazon. So that will be fine. However, you need to, I lost my train of thought. So you can definitely use that, but you can't say, like, if you're going to use Ingram, if your book's less than 75 pages, you have to use Ingram. You can't necessarily say, don't go into the US, but go into all these other countries. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, you don't have as much control over that as you would if you were, say, talking about the paperback, where you can turn off the US and you can make the others available. So make the US not one that you focus on.
All right, thank you.
I think it's going to be some trial and error with some of your books, and you may start, trying just with focus all your attention on the high quality Advantage version of your book. I think that's a good start. Ebook for visibility, paperback. There's a little bit of debate around if you're going to really drive people to a hardcover, then won't a paperback also potentially lose you sales on your hardcover? And that may be true, but it might. But I do feel like the hardcover, folks that are going to purchase a hardcover are typically different than the folks that are just going to grab a paperback. Maybe there's multiple copies that they need to have, or maybe they want a paperback so that they can see if the kids like it before they invest in a higher quality version hardcover. Perhaps it's a parent who, like me with my little ones, I couldn't afford to spend, $18.99 on a hardcover book when my kids were little. So I always want to try to have a lower price option for people. And even if I think it might cut into my hardcover sales, I would much rather lean towards giving people choice in what they purchase, instead of just having the hardcover option available and nothing else. So it's all about your values and where, what you think is going to be most important to you. And for me, I always lean towards what is going to serve my target audience the best.
If you do, if you have your account on Amazon Advantage, then if you do the paperback and the ebook, is that done in a different form of Amazon? Or is
Yes.
that
Yeah. You would go into KDP and you would set up your paperback and your ebook on KDP. And then if you decide you want to distribute a paperback version through Ingram, that's another option as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Any other questions we have? Any questions on the program? Tina's all set. We just spoke with Tina. So somebody said we have some newbies here that have signed up for the 90-day way. Have you, you want to take yourself off mute? Just wondering, have you been able to log in? Do you have any questions on where to start or how things need to progress first and foremost? No questions? I do have you guys
Oh,
on.
hi.
Oh, go ahead. Lemuel, go
Hi,
ahead.
April. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm using my phone, and so it's it's not as
Sharon.
convenient. Yes,
Hi,
hi,
Sharon.
it's Sharon. Hi.
Hello.
So I don't have a lot of questions because I was actually on your sessions this morning, which were very informative. So
Good.
yeah, so I learned a lot. I suppose the question now is, where do I go from here? I know you are in the middle of January starters, a January session. So for me, should I?
We're just kind of rolling, we're winding down from our previous session. And one of the reasons why I rolled out this new calendar is we were only offering the 90-day way twice a year. And that was a little painful for people that missed sign up and then they had to wait, for 6 months before we started it again. So what I'm doing is at the beginning of every month, there's a new opportunity for another cohort to start. So newbies like you, I think we have 6 or 7 starting this month. And you'll be able to drop in. And if we're in a session where maybe the group, the people that are just finishing up are still meeting, I'm whisking the newbies off with Janice or with myself to make sure that we focus on the getting started topics. So
Okay.
even though we're going to have a little bit of mixture just for the next week or so while our folks are getting published and moving on, then I think what's going to happen is the newbie sessions, like everything in blue on the calendar, are going to be all my new people. And the people that are graduating, they're going to be looking at things like, the launch and the advanced topics. So they're not necessarily going to impact and cross over the way that they did this morning.
Okay. No, but I quite enjoyed this morning. I learned a lot. Thank
So
you so much.
what is most attractive to you about the program? Is it the community and the collaboration? And what do you hope to accomplish with the time, the 90 days?
Well, I've been trying to get this book out for the past 2 years, just on and off. I've been working on it. I put it down for months and months and months. My dad just turned 90. And so this is something I want to do for him. And so I just need some help to get it out quickly. You know what I mean? So in other words, you had mentioned about if you want to get something out before Christmas, for example. And I thought, yes, that's me.
Yeah,
So,
accountability is so important. When I first started running these sessions, we had, I was on my 3rd or 4th session, and I would look up on the day 1 for the new session, and I would see some familiar faces, and I'm like, are you guys like not getting everything that you need the first time through or the second time through? And they're like,
boy,
we want like this camaraderie, this community has become so special to us, and the accountability, because like every week you've got a module. We have the workbook, and you're going to go through your online course. You're going to check things off. It's going to take you systematically through this process that we have perfected over 6 years. So
wow.
every time people struggle with anything, and we're always every like 3rd session or so, we're looking back saying, okay, it's been 3 weeks. What are we doing well? What do we need to, where are you getting stuck? And then wherever people are getting stuck, we're like, okay, what do we do to help people not have to go through that again? Is there a tool? Is there something that we can do to help make sure, whether it's a service or hand-holding, little extra meeting, extra one-on-one time, a template, a tool, a done-for-you piece of something that we can supplement. But that's what we've been doing for 6 years now. So we're we've had more than 5,000 people through the program.
Wow.
And it's been amazing. The past 10 book launches we've done have all been bestsellers, a few international bestsellers, and
Wow.
the book quality of these books are amazing. And I'm just so proud of the authors that work hard to do it, because it's hard
Yes.
work. It's
Of
not
course.
easy. It's hard work. You're going
Yes.
to work, you're going to do your homework, and you're going to have modules every week. You have all these live sessions that you can drop into, because some people need a little extra hand holding in certain areas and others don't. So you're able to pick and choose where you need the help and what it is you want
Okay.
to focus on. And that is, it's going to be amazing.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I just like the passion that you have, and that you're sharing so much, so I really appreciate that. And you mentioned the accountability piece. I think that's where, for me, that's going to be a big help, because in the past, whatever courses I've taken, knowing that, I'm working with a group to, and I have these set time constraints. I usually rise up to that challenge, because I'm a bit of a procrastinator.
And
so
it's amazing to see your other people that you're going through this with being able to
Right.
share what they're doing. And it feels
Right.
like Christmas when people start having their things come in, like, oh, I got a new samples from my illustrator, and help me pick the right cover design, guys. And it's just so much fun to watch all of that come together. But your original question for me was, what do I do next? Right? So
Yes.
number
Yes.
one, you're in the right place. You signed up, you're here, you're showing up. That's the most important way to get started. But your first thing that we're going to focus on is your manuscript. Have you
Okay.
gone through the process of editing it yet?
Not professionally. So
Okay.
I've done my own editing, and I've sent it to, I guess friends who I've got a few friends in journalism and English.
Yep. So
But
one of the biggest mistakes that is made in the self-publishing world is skipping that professional edit. And like you said, we all have people in our lives that are good at, reading and English and can give us some feedback, but there is nothing that can take the place of a professional editor with years or decades of experience on self-publishing children's books. So you will be able to see Bobby Hinman has 2 sessions, one in the morning on Tuesdays and one in the evening on Tuesdays. She is there to answer questions, to talk with you about writing of a children's book, answer questions, and also is available to evaluate your manuscript. And these are this all comes with the program. So you send her the manuscript. She will let you know what she recommends that you tweak before beginning an edit. That's going to be the first part of things. If you are not a children's book author and you are writing for adults, nonfiction, novels, maybe you're writing for the screen, then you can come to our Friday morning session where we have Joanne Skye, who is not only an amazing children's book author, but she also writes romance and novels. She is has been writing screenplays as well. So she is going to manage a session and answer questions around those topics on Friday. And that will be a standing session I'm going to attend because I want to learn a little bit about writing those longer form things for my future memoir that I do have on my bucket list that I will write.
Of course.
So that's really the beginning part of it, is get the writing and editing locked down. And then, and while you have it in your hands of your editor, it's fine to get started looking at illustrations, pulling together illustration styles that you really love. As part of my program, you have access to my pre-vetted list of editors, illustrators, designers, formatters, and links to all of their portfolios. So check some of the portfolios of those illustrators and see what resonates with you. My
Okay.
recommendation is to pick three illustrators that you want to test and give them the same sample request. Write it down, find something, maybe it is a scene or a character that's really important for you, that the illustrator that you choose, that you contract with, gets that right. So
Okay.
perhaps, it's, for me, I'm writing a Christmas book with my granddaughter. And for me to be able to move forward, I felt like they needed to really get the Kyrie character correct, right? So we did a little bit of AI magic, and I created something that's kind of looks like Kyrie, sent them some pictures of my granddaughter Kyrie, and said, here's the scene that I want you to do. Gave it to 3 different illustrators, and all 3 of them sent me back the sample, starting with a sketch, moving to color after incorporating my feedback. And then you have 3 different takes at totally different sometimes in how they approached it. But then you get to choose the illustrator that works best for you. You don't ever want to start illustrating until your book is completely finalized with your editing, but you can do those things. And the illustrators on my list will charge you $50 for just a simple sample and full color. It might be as much as $70 or $75 if it's more complex what you're asking for. So
Okay.
those are your starting points.
Oh, wow. Okay, lovely. It's exciting. It's exciting, and I just thank you again so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Emil, go ahead. I saw your hand.
Yes.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. And I make the words of Cheryl mine too. Thank you for sharing so much with us. And I believe my first curiosity is about AI. How is it going on with all the copyright stuff? Because there's a lot of discussion. There's a lot of people, both authors and illustrators, and people from the graphic design community using lots of AI tools for enhancing some work or just to generating ideas like the sample that he already gave.
Yeah.
But my curiosity about are we already in a point where the AI generated illustration are okay to use on a book? How this is being viewed among the professional authors and published authors now?
I think there's a place for it. I think it's going to revolutionize how children's books are created, and it's going to put a lot of power in the hands of authors and people who are actually training themselves on how to use AI and generate AI, understand prompts. So a prompt writer is all of a sudden becoming a sought after position. And there's a lot of companies hiring prompt writers that really know how to do this. I have some authors that are generating some beautiful work. I did interview with one of them on my YouTube channel who is writing an alphabet book. And it's kind of, so it was, every image is going to be different. You don't have to have, the same character, and the character, the challenge of taking one character and making them look the same all through multiple images wasn't an issue for him. So he used it for that purpose, more to help teach kids, because he's a teacher. And it was, he was generating it to teach kids and to, give them specific types of activities within the book. I thought that was a great opportunity for him and a way to keep the price down for illustrating the book. I have another author who's using it for a poetry book. So generating AI, beautiful landscape images, nice 3D realistic, peaceful images, and then putting her poetry on them. So it makes for a beautiful, and boy, it would cost a fortune to have that level of detail and beauty generated by an illustrator by hand. But she's not having to do that. She's able to do it with her AI. So it does have its place. I've used it as a creative way of collaborating with my grandkids. And it's funny because I gave my grandkids access to the Midjourney and like taught them a little bit about prompts. And all of a sudden I go into my Midjourney account and I'm like looking, oh my gosh, what are these kids doing? They're generating all kinds of weird things. But I'm trying to create with them and get them to create things. And so Kyrie and I, for this Christmas book, we had to figure out what this little cat, this grumpy cat, was going to look like. And so we started doing prompting, and we finally are like, that's him. There he is. We got it. Now we can pass that over to our illustrator. And when they came back with the storyboard, it was very well done because we had already given them all of the specific information. And I also generated a couple of images of what I thought Kyrie might look like and passed that along. So collaboration can be really much improved. I do think AI has a long way to go. Well, it's going very fast. But right now, fingers don't look like fingers. There's extra fingers and all kinds of things that happen. There's weird things that come in the generated form. And what I'm finding is that illustrators are using it to create beautiful backgrounds and to improve the speed with which they illustrate. They're able to generate things, go clean up the fingers, go do, whoops, there's this extra thing over here, or there's something over here that I'm going to add. And they generate things in multiple passes. And I'm seeing some beautifully illustrated things that are also being generated very quickly. So illustration time and turnaround time has really improved. But copyright is a big question mark. So I just don't know. There's so much going on with lawsuits, and are you going to have to remove all of these images? Are you going to have to take your book down because of some landmark, a decision that a court makes somewhere? I don't know. One of the things I will say is that if you're generating artwork and then bringing it into Photoshop, tweaking it, changing it, making it your own, or your illustrator is, then you can copyright that because you've changed it. You have taken something that was generated, you have made it uniquely your own. And so I think you'll be safer. It's not foolproof, but I'm looking forward to seeing where AI goes for sure.
Okay, the second question that I have is about an average cost for the whole project from scratch to publishing. Can I have an average idea of the whole cost of the publishing?
Tell me what kind of book that you're creating. Is this for a children's book?
Yeah, my area is children's book. I'm coming from the illustrate. I'm mostly an illustrator, and I'm writing my own stuff. But I need to learn a lot about the process and everything that's involved. But let's create a more precise case. Children's book illustrations, 24 or maybe 32 pages, paperback cover, full illustrations for all pages, a minimum amount of books for start to fill the market, and I think something like that, and mostly just distributed, let's say, on the United States.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll break down the costs a little bit for you, and I do have a separate video on this in the course and also on YouTube where I do post and talk about what it costs, what each aspect of publishing costs, and I give ranges and I go through the whole thing. But let me just touch on it a little bit here. If you're looking for a picture book editor, my number one favorite and my forever editor is Bobby Hinman. I would work with her. It costs $325 for a comprehensive edit, and that will include everything from the developmental edit to line and copy editing, proofreading. She will help you with your book blurb, your author bio, your description on Amazon. If you put together a press kit and you give it to her, she'll edit that, and all of that will be included in that price. It's amazing. And these are prices for my group, my people. You're with me here. So when you go to Bobby, let her know you're in April's group and you want you need that special white glove service that she provides. So that would be the editing portion of it. When it comes to illustration, there's a wide range of variety of illustrations. If you are looking for the small budget illustrator, then I would look at 1000 Storybooks. And let me just put it in 1000storybooks.com. They have low budget illustration and children's book projects that you can work with them on. And it's $1,000 for, I want to say it's probably half of the illustrations that you're talking about, where they have the words on one page, the illustration on another, words on one page, illustration on the other. And if you need more illustrations, you can ask them and they'll put more in. It is lower quality. It's what you would get if you're going to Fiverr and you've got like a lower beginner illustrator. That's what I would kind of equate that to. So you can get away with that. It's not what I would recommend. It's not what I typically do with my authors. So, but it's there for those people that really need that budget aspect of it. I would say a good price would be, or the range to budget in would be $70 a page to, I'd say, $150 a page. So if you're doing a 32 page, you can figure out how many illustrations you need and then multiply by that range. And if you're on the lower side of the budget, the $70 a page is beautiful illustrations. And you can get, a great project from that. There are others that are much more complex. So think about, a simple illustrations, not a lot of detail in the background, maybe not a lot of characters. And there's plenty I can share with you, like the different costs of illustrations. And I can show, like, here's a $70 a page project we did. Here's a $100 a page. Here's $150. When I did my first book, I paid $250 a page. But the gentleman was a former Disney illustrator, and I was set on getting the style. I fell in love with that style. I didn't know that there were great people out there that would do a similar style for way less than that. And so that's why I would say when I budget for mine, I budget for $100 a page. So $2,700 would be a good budget for me. And that's a gorgeous book. So that's typically what I do. A couple $100 for a cover design. And if you're looking for the design and formatting of the book, which is coming up with that beautiful cover layout, and as well as the beautiful interior, then it is $6.99 for that. And that is with, it's kind of the April discount with Praise Saffler Designs. And I have 3 or 4 other design firms that will stick with that price as well. And that will get you an ebook. It'll get you a paperback. And the paperback you can upload onto KDP as well as an Ingram Spark version. It'll get you a hardcover version on Ingram Spark as well. And it will also get you an offset formatted copy if you need an offset copy as well. We also, as part of that package, I have The designers include a low resolution version of the book that you can use in email, and you can get that out to, so if you're sending a pitch out, you can also attach a copy, and it's easy to email. It's not quite so bulky. So you have all of that. And they also include, in that design package, they include 3D images of your cover and some additional marketing images that you can use for your Facebook or whatever. So those are kind of the basic costs. Did I cover everything that you are interested in?
There's the marketing and advertising part too, but I can give a roughly guess of the cost.
Yeah. So
And how many books? Because we're talking about a project, it's what's the minimum amount of the books that I should look for to produce in order to get, and let's say in best scenario possible where I sell, how many books I have to print and how many I have to, let's say, look for selling and to get at least the investment back, and maybe a little roughly. Do you understand? Let's say 500 books at minimum, and you have to at least sell X number of books to cover for expenses. Do you have this experience, these numbers a little bit, or just?
So because each one of the projects is very different, like I said, there's a wide range for illustrations. Some people do more, keep the budget low and go with lower amount. So I love that you're thinking about what is my payback, right? How long will it take me to become profitable? I can tell you that, all of that depends on how much you're spending. I also, usually when I'm launching a new book, I depend a lot on print on demand to help verify the market. So I'm not typically printing thousands of books because I don't know if it's going to sell or not. There are some books that I've worked on with my authors that are just phenomenal and they don't sell very well. There are others that I didn't think would sell nearly as well as they did, and they fly off the shelves. So it's very hard to predict whether or not, like which one of those books that you write is going to be the breakout seller that's going to all of a sudden make people aware of all the other things that you've done and you've written, right? That will cross promote and bring things on. And so not knowing, I want to let print on demand, let people buy on Amazon, run some ads, get some visibility, do some ebook promotions, get a press kit created, and then send it out to media, get some media attention, get on some podcasts, go do some school visits, go to events, and find your people, hang out where they hang out, let them know, get your social media person helping you and getting the word out, or you do social media. And speaking of social media person, my social media person is going to be on right after me. So she's going to be here right after me, and she's going to talk a little bit about social media marketing, because we do cover marketing all the time with this. So we're every week that we're moving forward in the program, we're marketing, we're getting things out where you can easily generate your own press kit and do your research and get a list of influencers, start building relationships, find the press that's writing about your book and that shares your target audience that you have. All of those things, there's a lot you can do yourself, or you can pay a PR firm to do it for you. I would budget about $2,500 a month. And usually there's a minimum of 3 months if you want a PR firm or marketing firm to do those things for you. If you can do more yourself, then you don't need to do all of that. And if budget is something that really you want to make sure that you're making your money and that you're not going in the negative, then you might want to consider running a Kickstarter campaign and generating the orders ahead of time so that by the time you launch your book, you've raised the funds that print the book, that get the book out, and you're starting at zero, and every sale is a profit for you.
Do we have on the schedule people there that have knowledge about Kickstarter campaigns, etc.?
Yeah, Sarah Catherine Frey, who is on Wednesday mornings. I covered for her today. She and I have done a lot with Kickstarter and running little Kickstarter groups just to give people help that they need. And Sarah has raised $40,000 for the 2 book projects that she's run through Kickstarter. And we have helped a lot of authors go through and launch their books to Kickstarter. And so far, all of them have been successful campaigns. So that is, we've probably gone through a couple of dozen. I mean, we haven't been doing hundreds, but a couple of dozen people that have gone through the process, that have kind of followed, and we've been there to support. And she is going to open up the dialogue so that if people want to know about Kickstarter, she's also a designer as well. And she answers questions about A+ or designing marketing materials. And then she's added the topic of Kickstarter as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Good questions. Okay, do I have any others? Let's see, we are almost done. Wow, this went fast. I probably have time for one more. I see a hand raised. Where is it? Tina, go ahead.
Okay, so I have somebody that I know that is wanting to become an illustrator. What would you recommend she does?
Oh, that's a great question. I've had a few illustrators reach out to me and ask if I would be interested in doing something for illustrators, like do a meeting or something where they could learn how to work with authors and things like that. Is this individual, doing art already?
Well, how I even noticed it, and I pointed it out to her, and then her mom was like, you do need to pursue this. So her sister's dog had just passed away. So she had drawn an illustration of the dog, and it was spot on. I mean, it looked like a portrait. And it was done with colored pencils. And I was like, you really need to pursue this. And I know there's a demand for illustrators.
Yes.
And so her mom's like, well, I know she's interested, but how do we go about this? And I was like, well,
Yeah.
let me see what I can find out for you.
Yeah, well, I know there's a lot of online courses these days. Like if it was 10 years ago, I'd be telling you to align with, some art college or something for the child. But nowadays, kids are learning and
she's not a kid, she's a young lady.
Oh, okay.
She's already gone to school, but I don't know that it had to do with art.
Yeah. There are so many courses out there now online. And if you look up Procreate is a software that you can run on an iPad. And there's great programs out there where you can learn. And I've actually had a few of my authors that have started illustrating their own books, and they had no previous experience. They got the iPad was the upper level iPad with the Apple Pencil, and started learning through videos and through little courses on Procreate. And now they're creating their own beautiful books. And I'm just blown away. I can't even draw a stick figure. So, but I did buy an iPad that is available to do Procreate. I just need to find the time to do it. And I am thinking about, and if there's enough demand, I will probably have a session for illustrators just to get together, to network, and to get their questions answered, and maybe even match. So the other thing I would also say is, excuse me, finding a mentor is going to be really helpful for her. And I do have someone in mind if you would like to connect with me offline. I think I could match the individual with somebody who could really help her grow.
Oh, that sounds great.
That will go a long way.
Thank you.
All right. Do I have any other questions? All right. Well, we are just about at that time where we're going to wind down for this live session. I'm going to stop recording. Goodbye to YouTube, my friends on YouTube. Just go and grab my calendar, go bookmark it. It's aprilcox.com/calendar. And you will see a huge amount. We're crazy over here. A huge amount of sessions that you can drop into the month of April. It's kind of like a wide open big hug from me to you, where you can just experience what it's like to be a part of all of these great sessions, and decide whether or not this is something that you would like to be a part of. So go ahead and do that. I will put some additional information in the notes from these sessions, so that if you are looking to get more information about the 90-day way or my mastermind group, you'll be able to look at that. And if you think you might be interested, then try to expedite and take a look before those specials go away, because it is going to be ending. The $500 discount and the $99 a year to get into the mastermind and be able to have full access to all of these things for a year, that will go away on Sunday evening at 11:59 p.m. And so I don't want that to happen. I want you guys to have access to that. So join us and just check in. And by the way, on Wednesday evenings, this time at 8 p.m. Eastern, every week I do live Q&A. I do stream it to YouTube, and I will answer questions, and I make that available every week for free. And I will continue to do that in perpetuity. You don't have to be part of my program to do it. So you can always take advantage of that as well. All right, everybody, I'm going to stop my